This is the informational video for how to do online American problems with Mr. Reichley for the summer of 2023. This will take you through everything you need. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me and we can talk about it. But hopefully this will answer all your questions and make things pretty easy for you. So here's the deal. Everything will be done here through Canvas. You can see the start and the stop dates. You can see my contact information, and you can see how everything is laid out here. A couple of things. This is completely online. There is no face-to-face meeting, but if you would like a meeting, I can easily do that. You just need to email me and give me a couple of days to figure out when and where we can meet, or where would be the high school, but when we can meet. So face-to-face meetings are not out of the question. It's just this class is designed to be done without that. I'll answer all your emails. We could talk face-to-face if you want to. We just got to set it up. All right. The other thing is everything is due by 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. Not 11, not midnight. Everything after 10 o'clock is just not very good. So we're going to get it done by 10 o'clock. There is a late penalty for things being late, and things can only be done 1 week late with points being taken off every day that it is late. The last unit and the final exam are due July 19th, no exceptions. Everything's done on the 20th. I've got to get grades in by the 20th, so you got to get it done by the 19th. So here's what we have on the Canvas page. Here are all the 5 modules. The 6 different modules. The first one is just about discussions, and then the other 5 topics go in modules 2 through 6. So here's how things are going to work. Here's what you need to do first. I click on module 1, and it takes me to right here. The first part you see is just general information. Your first assignment is to join Flipgrid and to make a short little 2-minute Flipgrid video. This is you introducing yourself to me and the rest of the class, but it's also making sure I know that you know how to do all this information. Everything else here is just to help you. Here's the syllabus, talks about late work, talks about due dates, how to do political cartoons. If you don't know how, there's a 4-step process, how these participations are going to work. And then here's the people you need to know for the politics quiz, which I will get to here in a second. So after you've done the Flipgrid, this is the first thing you have to do. Please listen carefully. People screwed this up last year. These are 5 different topics. This is all you have to do. If you start Monday the 12th, this is all you have to do in the first 3 days. You click on each one of these discussions, and I have a question or a topic, and you post your initial thoughts. So even though you might not know a lot about the topic, this is our starting spot. This is where we're going to get everything going. So you click on this, post 1 thought. Click on this, post your initial reaction. Same for all 5 of them. You will need to revisit each of these during the module that it is up. So this will start on Thursday of the week 2, which is 12/3, the 15th. So this will be when you do that week's work. This is a week later, this is a week later, so on and so forth. This is the one that comes in at the end of the summer. So your initial posts are due in the first 3 days. Then you have to revisit this during module 2. Revisit cultural module during module 3. Revisit the economics module during module 4, so on and so forth for the last 2. So these are your initial thoughts. Then when you do some work, you do some information, you go back and post more reactions. There's also a weekly current event. Here's week 1. Weeks 2 through 6 aren't up there because it's a current event. It's whatever happening at the time. This also can only be done this week. If you don't do this week's current event, I'm not reopening. This is a current event 5 weeks later. It's a current event this week only. You can miss one. So if you're going to be gone for a week's worth of vacation, you don't have to do one. You still have to do the module work on time, so you probably got to work ahead, but you don't have to do the current event. So you could have to do 5 of the 6. You can miss one of them. Now, for all of these discussions, you making all your posts in 1 day is not a discussion. Obviously, this is online. Obviously, we can't talk to each other face to face, but we're going to do the best we can. So you post your discussion, your first thought early in the week, Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday. Then you go back a day or 2 later and react to what other people posted. And then you do that a third time. So maybe you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This can be done in 5 minutes. All right, so this isn't like you got to spend hours upon hours doing this. You post your thought, come back 2 days later, people agreed, people disagreed, you respectfully post your response. You do that 3 times. If you just come on Friday night at 6 o'clock and post 3 or 4 thoughts, you're not going to get an A on that assignment. The best you'll get is a C. Same thing with here. You're all going to post your initial thoughts. Then during week 3, a cultural module, you'll go in and out 2, 3 different times and respond to what people said. So these discussions are a big deal, and you need to make sure you follow the directions for them. Then we get into each module. You can see the dates on top. You can see the dates on top, and you can see all the different things that are linked up here. This one has a quiz, multiple choice. There's the topics to study. If you're going to try to Google and look up all the answers, I guess you can do that. That's not the intent of the class, but if you want to try to do that and get away with it, go for it. They are timed, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to do that. You could just study and try, but if I don't catch you, I guess you can do whatever you want. Then I give you a whole bunch of resources. If you don't look at these resources, I will probably never know. These resources are for you to check out, for you to watch, for you to read, for you to use, because here's your work. Pretty much each module has a political cartoon you have to interpret. That's why I gave you in the first module up here directions for how to interpret a political cartoon. It's not as simple as telling me what you see. In fact, that'll get you half the points. That'll get you an F. This is what I see. I can see it too. You need to explain it. Each module will then have a quiz of some sort. Sometimes it's multiple choice, sometimes it's paragraphs. You have to read the directions. And then there's your final assessment. The final assessment has options for how you want to do it. They're all right here. This one has a worksheet you finish, and then you do something with that worksheet. Those projects go with these objectives. This is what you have to demonstrate that you've learned. You need to look this over, use these resources to complete this project. If you just wing it and make stuff up, and it's not related to the objectives, and there's no real evidence there, you're going to get a bad grade. Again, if you don't need to look at these resources, then don't. But if you get a bad grade on your project, your final assessments, it's because you didn't use the resources. If this was regular in-school, face-to-face class, these are the things we would look at, we would read, we would talk about in class, and then you would do some sort of assignment like this. So the first 3 days, you need to post all of your thoughts on these topics. Then starting the next Wednesday through the next Tuesday, Thursday through Wednesday, you do this module. And then the next week it's this module, and then so on and so forth through all 5 other modules after the participation module. Everything is due on a Wednesday. If you don't do the cultural module and turn it in by June 28th, the absolute deadline to turn it in is July 5th, 1 week later. You will be losing points every day it's late. No exceptions. I'm not tracking people down. You're losing points. All right, and after a week, this module's done. If you've not done the political module by the 21st, you're losing points. If it's not done by the 28th, it's zeros, and they will stay zeros. All right, they will stay zeros. The last module here, the diplomatic module, it's due the 19th, and everything's due the 19th. The summer ends the 19th. If it's not done by the 19th, it's zeros. If you're a person that gets extra time to do things in school, that's awesome. All right, but your extra time is 24 hours a day during the summer. We don't meet face to face. If you can't work at 8 o'clock in the morning, then you work at 8 o'clock at night. You're not getting extra time to do these things because you have 24 hours a day for 7 days. So you have all the extra time you need. Extra time is when you have 40 minutes in class to take a quiz and you need an extra 20 or 30. That's awesome. That's great. You deserve that. You have all the time you need. You have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for an entire week to do this. So you're not getting extra time to get this done. You also have a final exam website. It is due by 10 o'clock the 19th. Again, no exceptions. The directions are here. An example is here. You submit it here. So everything is here for you. If you have questions, email me. Otherwise, this is what you need to do. If this isn't going to work for you, you need to drop with Mrs. Gordon by Thursday, the 16th of June. So if you watch this video, if you look at this and say it's too much work, you need to drop. If you're in the class on Friday morning the 17th, you either get an A, you get a grade. Could be an F, could be an A, could be a B, but there's no dropping after that. So this is it. This is all the work. The syllabus that explains everything is also linked up here. Check all that out. Everything you need to know is right here. If you got any questions, let me know. The due date for all the work, the last deadline for the project, the final exam, I should say, and for the last module is July 19th. And again, 5 of the 6 current events you have to do, current event weeks. Do your discussions right away, and then do all the work that goes with it after that. All right, good luck.